The acting rector at the Akinola Olaolu Igbajo Polytechnic in Osun State, acting rector, who is Akinola Olaolu, has been sacked for allegedly using a fraudulent PhD certificate to get the job. Mr. Olaolu's dismissal was confirmed by the vice chairman of the Board of Trustees of the institution while addressing journalists over the scandal. He says the institution has zero tolerance for fraud and any illicit act capable of jeopardizing the integrity of the school. Mr. Olaolu, who joined the institution as a deputy rector in December 2015, had claimed he had a PhD certificate in economics from the University of Ibadan.
When the story came out, it was to the disappointment of very many people. But indeed, because of the way a report had been given to us, we thought it was a fake news, as it were. But because of the kind of attention and publicity it was taking, and because we care for the image of this school, the governing council met. They decided and wrote a letter to the institution that to confirm to us whether the PhD certificate was true or not. Incidentally, we got a letter to say, well, let me just say they disowned the certificate. And immediately, the governing council met and took their decision. The decision Olaolu of his appointment as an acting rector.
And to politics, following the killing of 7 policemen by armed robbers in Abuja almost a week ago, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has placed the force across the country on red alert. In a statement from the force headquarters, Mr. Idris has ordered all commissioners of police, as well as their supervising assistant inspectors general, to nip in the bud all criminal activities in their states. The Inspector General had last week Wednesday set up a team of specialized investigators, crime scene experts and a technical intelligence unit of the force to investigate the deadly ambush. According to the statement, the team has so far arrested 5 suspects in connection with the killings, but there still need to beef up security throughout the country. Particular attention is being placed to places of worship, schools, markets, recreation venues and other public spaces. The IGP has also directed that the ongoing raids of criminal hideouts and black spots be sustained, while show of force exercises and confidence-building patrols will also be embarked upon. The race to who succeeds Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti draws close, and questions are raised about the preparation and credibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the security agencies, the conduct of the political parties, and the readiness of electorates. Our next report highlights the key determinants and the important numbers of the hotly contested Ekiti election.
All this kind of rushing will be an issue as well.
The contract of the current governor of Ekiti State and his people is nearing its expiry date. Those interested in the state's #1 job are going from one location to another, covering 16 local government areas of the state to woo prospective voters with the best words. 35 political parties are vying for the governorship seat in the state, but the All Progressives Congress (APC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) are running the loudest campaigns. Mudslingings, allegations and suspicion are also flying between the two parties ahead of the election, with INEC getting a mention. There are allegations of the connivance of the electoral umpire to disenfranchise 50% of the electorate by preloading the smart card readers. But the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, in simple language, addresses that matter.
The claim that the permanent voter cards are cloned and the smart card readers preloaded is simply ludicrous.
In 2014, the total number of registered voters was slightly more than 700,000. Only 50.32% showed up on the election day. The incumbent governor sealed his victory with 203,090 votes. His rival at the time, Dr. Fayemi, will also now be slugging it out with the governor's anointed candidate, Professor Kolako Olushola, polled 120,433 votes. Fast forward to 2018, and the numbers different. Out of 913,334 registered voters, less than 600,000 permanent voter cards have been collected. The other issue tied to political participation is security. The state witnessed heavy security presence in 2014. This time, about 30,000 security personnel will be on ground on election duty. Now, with the stage set, will the PDP be allowed to retain power and carry on with its continuity agenda? Or will the APC regain power it lost 4 years ago? Or will any of the remaining 33 political parties create an upset? The power rests solely in the hands of the Ekiti people, and that will be shown in less than a week from now and through the ballot.
Well, ahead of the election in Ekiti State, joining us in the news at 10 for more is Channel's television data analyst, Babajide Ogunsowo. Many thanks for joining us.
For me, it's always a pleasure to be here.
All right. In less than 7 days, voters in Ekiti State will peacefully queue to cast their vote. Should we expect a high voter turnout?
I think we should. And that's because, let's look at what happened during the last governorship election in 2014. Voter turnout was 50%. Fast forward a year after 2015 presidential election, voter turnout increased to 58%. So we've seen the most two recent elections in Ekiti, we've seen voter turnout of above 50%. But Millicent, here's the question voters are asking, and indeed all Nigerians are asking: who will win next week's election? Now, I've fast forwarded, and I've been able to determine who it will be. So in this envelope here, we have the results of next week's election.
So can we trust you? I mean, you're talking like your mystic Marcus now.
Oh, with all certainty, here is the result. And I think you should read it out.
The youngest Southwest governor.
Exactly.
It doesn't say anything.
So whoever wins next week will become the youngest Southwest governor in Nigeria. So if the candidate of the APC wins, he will become the youngest Southwest governor. If the candidate of the PDP wins, he also will become the youngest Southwest governor. We can't look at all the other parties, but let's look at the SDP's candidate. If he also wins, he will become the youngest Southwest governor. So we're seeing an election that whatever happens, I'm certain, we're going to have the youngest Southwest governor.
And this is irrespective of age?
Irrespective of, let's look at the other governors in the Southwest. The APC candidate, if he wins, the PDP candidate, if he wins, will be younger than the other governors in the Southwest. But here's what we need to focus on. It shouldn't be about age. Rather than we have the not too young to run discussions, it should be not too young to think. We should have not too young to perform. The first governor of Ekiti State during this Fourth Republic, Niyi Adebayo, was 41 years old when he contested. So here's what we need to even focus more on. What will happen to the APC if they win? And if they win, indeed, for the first time, we'll have all the governors in the Northwest, all the governors in the North Central, and all the governors in the Southwest from one party. This is why this is important. 60% of all PVCs are in these three zones. However, if the PDP candidate wins, then the PDP will still have 11 states, but what it does is it gives them the momentum and energy to look forward to what will happen when the Osun State election comes in September. Don't forget, INEC has opened all the windows, saying that in the next 6 weeks, parties can start conducting their primaries. So the next 6 weeks, not just next week, will be interesting.
INEC also recently revealed that there are over 250,000 uncollected voter cards. Now, some people are wondering, is this a sign of voter apathy or frustration?
So one way to look at it is, yes, there are over 250,000 voter cards. But here's the fact. We have more people that have registered and collected their voter's card than others. In simple terms, the challenge isn't people aren't collecting their voter's card. It is people are not registering. because 6 out of 10 of those who've registered have collected their voters' cards. The challenge is in Ekiti today, you have 1.8 million eligible voters. However, only half have registered to vote. So the evidence shows today that even though it is important for us to clear up that backlog of uncollected PVCs, we need to focus more on encouraging more people to register to vote. That is the challenge.
In less than a minute, if you can, 2 questions. What else can INEC do to ensure that peace is assured and, you know, the votes actually count? Plus, what would you say for priorities for the next governor of Ekiti State?
That's a lot to answer in 1 minute, but let's quickly look at this. Ekiti has 16 local governments. There's one local government that stands as the most important. Yes, all local governments are important, but Ado Ekiti is where, if there will be violence, where most of that will happen. Because remember in the last election, like the report showed, Ayodele Fayose won by over 80,000 votes. But a third of that margin was from Ado Ekiti. So whatever it is, we have to ensure that Ado Ekiti is peaceful. The second is, citizens also have to listen to the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who says that, I will not kill for any purpose, even though I'm willing to die for any cause. So whatever it is, the citizens have to ensure that there are no killings. It is really not worth it. They have a young future. The evidence we have today shows that 75% of the population of Ekiti are below the age of 35. In simple terms, they have more years ahead of them than the years they have behind them.
Priorities for the next governor?
We have to have a peaceful state. Ekiti also has to optimize its resources. Let's look at all the states around Ekiti. Ekiti has the lowest IGR, but priority for the next governor is to ensure that there's peace in the state and he optimizes the resources of the state. The priority for citizens are to also ensure that they look forward to their years ahead. We can't have killings rather than promote violence. So we're going to have, I believe, one of the most peaceful elections in the history of Ekiti State.
All right, we'll see how things play out on Saturday. Thank you so much, Babaji Deguso, for coming on the News at 10.
Thank you. Keep the results, please.
All right. And indeed, moving on, lawmakers from the Northwest geopolitical zone have passed a vote of confidence on President Muhammadu Buhari, endorsing him for a second term in office. This is ahead of the 2019 election. Well, when the News at 10 returns, residents of Bauchi State kick against the state government's law criminalizing illicit tree felling. That's on our community report. Please join us again.